This is a very special program to honor and to recognize some of our JCPS staff for the hard work that they have done and that they continue to do. A quote that I use a lot, that means a lot to me, is a quote from Maya Angelou that says, "People may forget what you do, they may forget what you say, but they never will forget how you make them feel." So I say to you, you make our students, you make our district better. Thank you for that. I appreciate all that you do. Enjoy the evening.
All right, welcome everybody. I'm excited to be here this evening. This is one of my favorite times of year as we begin the celebration tour, I like to call it, where we have the opportunity to celebrate really two groups. First, we celebrate teachers and educators, and then we get to celebrate students and all their accomplishments over the entire year and many times over their career. So tonight we have the Educators of Color celebration, fantastic event. John, how many years have you done this? 4 years of doing this, and what an incredible event. Next week, we have the Hilliard Lions Teachers of Excellence Award, so two great opportunities to award teachers for their work. So I do want to take a second first and thank Dr. John Marshall for his work in getting this all together and prepared. So thank you, Dr. Marshall, for your work in doing that. Can we give him a round of applause? So we got to recognize Delquan. I believe he is the quarterback of this show today, is that correct? And that's why we had Atherton students down here, wasn't it? Because of Delquan being an Atherton grad.
Class of 92.
Class of 92. So thank you for that. We appreciate you putting this together. I know it's a lot of work to do this. So how about a round of applause for Delquan? Great job. Most importantly, it's the opportunity to recognize our teachers. Obviously, the teaching profession, we've had tough times over the past 16 months in many ways, and there is no better way than to be able to come together and celebrate the work of our teachers, because all too often we don't get to recognize teachers. And everyone in this room knows what a difficult job that is, to go in every day, to have passion for what you do, to not be recognized, to take every child that comes in the classroom and in the school, and do whatever it takes to make sure that our children are successful. And so I can't thank you enough for the work that you do as teachers.
As we talk about the unapologetic leaders that we have in the community, we cannot do this without our higher ed support. So in a minute, what we're going to do is recognize the winners of the Unapologetic Higher Ed Award. But I would like to take a pivot and say, and I want everybody to hear me, when classrooms start looking more like that as opposed to the boring stuff we do, we will close the gap. We will absolutely close the gap, and we can start doing non-traditional things and letting kids bring their whole self into the classroom. So I want to thank all of the teachers that allow students, and that's all of you all in the room, to be their whole selves, and please give yourself a round of applause for that. So the first award for the Higher Ed Unapologetic is Dr. Chantel Crosby. If she is in the room, we would like for her to come up. There she is. So Chantel has done a lot of our work as we start addressing some of our unapologetically, JCPS is facing what we're going to do for our girls of color. Chantel has done over 30 hours of professional development for us. She has written articles inside of our Vision Equity. And like everyone else that Diversity, Equity, and Poverty recruits and solicits, she unapologetically does the work and will say, I am doing this for African American students. So on behalf of JCPS, we want to thank U of L employees, staff, and we would consider her sister, Chantel Crosby. The next award is going to Sarah Nunez. She is not here. She is doing another community event, but receiving it for her is Eileen Marquez. If she could come up. As she comes up, one of the things that we are very understanding about is the majority of Jefferson County Public Schools now looks like this room. The majority of students are of color. And one of the things that we have to do, although we talk a lot about African Americans, we also need to talk about our Latinx population and the work that Sarah Nunez has done and the consultations that she has given us and the professional developments is something as we move forward we will continue to do.
Tonight we celebrate you. Now we're gonna call some names and we're gonna honor some people and we're gonna give some awards, but let me be clear. This celebration is for all of you all. Every last one of you all. So please give yourself a round of applause. When you think of everything that teachers of color have to endure, when you think of everything we've had to endure, ever since the Civil War and just coming to this country, ever since even busing, but yet we are still here. We are still here. And like I said earlier, we can't pay you enough, but we sure enough gonna celebrate you. Because when we celebrate you, we celebrate ourselves. And we cannot do it without you. And I know it gets hard, I know it gets challenging, but please understand, we need you. We need you. I know you hear about your friends having other occupations and doing other things, but more important than that paycheck, it's about these kids. Like these kids that were out here earlier, it's about them. And if you be honest with yourself, when you saw them kids, you saw a little bit of yourself as well when you was a kid. So it's important that we continue this legacy. That's the reason why Dr. Marshall wanted to have this celebration, because we recognize the struggles. We recognize the things that are going on, and people say, I don't know how long we can do this. We can do it. You can do it. Because somebody did it for you. And as the ancestors are looking down on us, they will continue to give us strength. That's the reason why it's important to study our history. So yes, I'm gonna call some names, but please understand, we celebrate you too, and we appreciate everything you do. Thank you.